got David Witcher. I'm sorry about the delay. So, another good man.
Good evening, guys. Nice to see you all. Right, okay. First, probably a little introduction to me, what led me down this path of kind of self-empowerment.
Why Mason is raised from the dead.
So yeah, I'm Dave, I'm from Kent, I've got a little plumbing and heating company. I just want to treat people as they wish to be treated, you know. I can't do anyone wrong, it really goes against my moral compass. And what started me on this path was something happened to me in a government building, probably 10 years ago plus, that whilst I was sat there, everything about it was wrong. It was just morally wrong. And I'm sat at the end of a table, and two women come in with a folder as big as your hand. It was like a big triple burger. I've played the system a little bit over the years. And the doors were locked, and I sat there, and it looked as though they wanted to kill me. I'm like, whoa, hang on, what's going on here? And they were throwing folders at me across the table saying, sign it. And I'm like, I'm signing nothing. And they said, well, you ain't leaving the building. I said, fantastic, what have we got for dinner? Because I like a bit of steak. And I could see it in their face, but what really bothered me was the fact that I could have been out in the street with the rest of good souls like yourself. Cinnamon just struck up a conversation, and that would never have played out. So something behind the scenes was making them do that to me, like following orders. And I was confused. I come home, I'm sitting around, I'm thinking, what is it that these people have got over me that I don't know about? And I was racking my brain. This was probably I'm not very good with time, maybe 8 to 10 years ago. And I just stumbled across the internet on YouTube, because I think people are naturally gravitating away from mainstream media. And they seem to get excited by all these videos that are popping up on YouTube of different things and little interactions with the police and court bailiffs. They're like, this beats EastEnders, man, this is the real world. So that's what happened, and I just lost myself a bit. So I stumbled across John Harris. John's no longer sadly with us anymore. And I watched that video, and I had to shake my head. I'm like, this geezer's mental. But the more I watched it, the more it sort of resonated with me that actually, no, we're all born equal. And it just made complete sense to me. So I ran with it, and I thought to myself, well, if we're all born equal, who's got the right to tell me what to do, how to act, sign here, sign there? And I was always that kind of a man. I would always, if they told me to sign there in that box, I'd sign it. And then I just thought, no, I'm not going to do it no more. My signature was creating the instruments that they were using against me. So, when I was a young lad, some of us go to church. I've never been massively churchy, but I was baptised, and that meant something to me. Yeah, I was baptised through Jesus Christ, but it don't matter who you're baptised through, but it's your faith and core belief. That led me to sort of start researching, going back through history, bit of constitutional law. I don't know where it come from. I just started to research it because these videos just kept popping up, and I'm like, well, I like that. This is how we used to be. And then I started studying all these different bits of law, statute law, common law, what is the law, what's not the law, and it became quite apparent that these people make it up as they go along. And, as someone else suggested, a lot of the time when you go to these courts, you're getting opinions, you're not actually getting factual law as it is written. And we've all got opinions. You might have an opinion on what the weather's like today, and I might disagree with you. But I want facts. So I started researching, and I come across a thing called the Cest KV Act of 1666, and it shot out at me. I'm like, really? I'm dead? Judge my estate as if I'm dead? I ain't having that. I'm here. I'm the man. I'm not hurting no one, so I'm in dominion. I'm in God's kingdom, if you want to call it that. I say I don't go to church, but that led me to that book, and that book is the law. As far as I'm concerned, that book is your allodial title, it's your inheritance, and I use it. The Bible, it is your inheritance. It says on the very first page in Genesis who you are, who made you, and on the very last page of Revelation it says what will happen to you if you don't live by that. It takes your part of the book of life away. And that's what that book scares the crap out of. It's called, excuse my French. I had a judge try and bankrupt me a few years ago. But I'm very fortunate to have a nice house, everything's paid for. But I figure I owe the system one, give it a little jab in the ribs every now and again. And this judge wrote for me from up north, he said, I'm going to bankrupt you. I said, you can't bankrupt a living man. Don't cause me harm. 2 lines, finished. Never, ever, ever, ever heard another thing. Nothing. It just disappeared. So I thought, I like this. And this is what I want you guys to come into, and probably most of you are, and that is realise who you are. Stop living in fear. The minute that you show fear to these people, and it's really, really hard not to. I've had many an altercation recently with my constabularies. They've all pretty much stood down, but I don't know what they're coming at me with tomorrow. Perhaps they want to come and have a piece of me. I'm not too bothered. I don't wish them any harm, by the way, for the record. So, where was I? What was I? About the coppers, wasn't I? I've lost it. Let me move on. This is quite hard stood up here, actually. I'm really used to standing in my kitchen or anywhere, just doing videos, and they fly around the world. Funnily enough, a guy messaged me yesterday through Facebook, and he lives in Florida Keys, and he did live in England. He's been out there for about the last 10, 15 years, Kevin. And he said, Dave, I've just spat my tea out. So I've gone to my neighbour's house and she's watching you on Facebook. Oh my God. So this is where I come from. I come from the social media side of things, because there's probably 150 people here, maybe. It's all being videoed. And then everyone can come home from work. They're not switching on the BBC too much. They're all going for this, they think it's cool. And then they're seeing people like us stand up and they're going, oh, and they're questioning. It's like laying a seed, it's like planting that little acorn. Now, you all have to do this for yourselves. And I'm going to show you some documents in a minute, which I've done, that I think really pretty much finishes the system, alright? We're coming on to that. But empower yourselves, be the change you want to see. Use the word no. If they're coming at you, we want to do, why? No, I'm not doing it. And you keep saying that, in the end they get the message and they do leave you alone. I'm lucky, I'm properly left alone. When it comes to law and the system that we live in today, I think we need to change the word law to business. Because I've been in the Queen's Courts, or allegedly the Queen's Courts, the Queen's Bench Division up in the Strand, and I've sat with some masters, only a couple of times, so I got bored. But you have to make an application, and you have to pay a fee. Well, if you've got to pay for justice, there is no justice. And I personally don't think there's any court in this land that's actually administrating justice. They're administrating contracts and they're administrating business, because that's all you are to these people, is an energy unit. And they actually claim to own you through your personhood. Now, before I carry on with where I'm going, everyone truly believes that they're a person. And it's not for me to tell you otherwise, because for me to tread on your beliefs and your faith would be wrong. My rights finish where yours begin. But in James chapter 2 verse 9 it says, if you have respect of persons, you are a sinner and you transgress the law. It says that. Okay? James chapter 2 verse 9. If you consider yourself to be a person, you're a sinner and you transgress the law. Okay? Now, in 1666, the SESK-V Act was implemented, and as far as I'm concerned, if you take the one off you're left with 3 sixes. And funnily enough, people sort of get a little bit excited about 666. I truly believe 666 to be the carbon makeup of man. 1 part neutron, 1 part proton, 1 part electron. But we all get a bit scared of it. But the Act of 1606 and the Great Fire of London was started for a reason. And whilst London was burning, we're in London now, Parliament were plotting. And what Parliament are doing, they're actually administrating a trust. And trust is the highest form of law. Now I chose as a man to go down an ecclesiastical route, churchified, because the Archbishop bestows the ordinance on the Queen. He coronates her. And if there isn't a monarch at the time, the Archbishop is the highest form of law in this country. Now the Archbishop, has a group of people under him called scribes, and they're called notaries. Various forms of notaries, but an ecclesiastical notary. There was a guy a few years ago I watched on YouTube, good friend, Roger Walker. He said that ecclesiastical notaries, or notaries, were left from the Catholics, and the Catholics instilled them into this country. Now when I spoke to my notary, he informed me, no. When Henry VIII was on the throne, he separated from the papacy the Church of Rome because he was a brandy old sod and he wanted plenty of wives, and who can blame him? So he excommunicated. He said, no, I don't want this. So Henry VIII became the head of the church, the Protestant Reformed religion based in England, and he became the head of the church and the head of the monarchy, and a notary works for him. So a notary works on and for behalf of the Archbishop of Canterbury. And like I said, ecclesiastical is the highest form of law. I shall pass this round so you guys can see this. Now I actually think I might just be the first man since 1666 coming from a peasant's point of view, because I've come from very humble beginnings in Peckham. My family had nothing. I've worked hard, I've done alright. Exactly. Yes. So I recently, back in March, got a copy of the birth certificate, and I had it ecclesiastically notarised. I've taken control of the estate. Does this mean anything to you guys? Okay, I shall pass it around, you can see. And I've written across the top there, I, David, take control of the estate in dominion, because we're all in, as the other said, God's kingdom. And no one has ever argued an ecclesiastical seal. No one in a court has ever argued an ecclesiastical seal.
So, boss, where do you go to do that?
I have a notary. He's in East Sussex.
What is notary?
Notary is a scribe. He seals documents. You know, like when you go to courts and you get these HMCTS courts?
Lawyer?
Yeah, basically, he's an ex-barrister. I don't really know his history of what he did through the legal profession. But a notary goes before the Archbishop and he gets down on one knee and he holds the ecclesiastical sword and he swears to uphold natural law and natural justice. So that's why it's so powerful. Now I've used my notarised documents, sent them off to my local police, courts. They've all gone quiet, like really quiet. Because I said to my notary when I was with him in March, when I had this birth certificate notarised, what happens if anybody questions your seal? And he said, I'm not sure. I said, oh, I'm wasting my time here, wasting money. He said, well, no one ever has. And I thought, ooh, exactly. Now, he said, if anyone ever questions my seal, no problem, but we have to hold a properly constituted court established in England. Okay? Make sense? I'll pass it around so you can have a look. But I basically think because the government are operating on a presumption
That you are dead.
that you're dead, Now this one says here, Deputy Register of Births and Deaths of the Sub-Districts of St Giles in Camberwell, that's where I was born, not too long ago. Yeah, I know. This is in the book, and the number is 273. To the Registrar of Births for the said sub-district. I need to go Specsavers, man. And that the registrar is now legally in my custody. Are you getting that? So this is the founding document. I'm probably going to get killed after making this video. If I go missing, guys, you all know I've not committed suicide yet. Legal register. This is the foundation document of where everything you've got in your life. Yes, sir. Yeah, establishing my own law, basically. Yeah.
So can we go to any church or registrar?
Absolutely.
And do that?
No, ecclesiastical notary, unless you can get a meeting with a deacon, archbishop, someone in clergy, they can't tamper with God's law, guys, and the government know that. They know that. I went to a full council meeting last year in Maidstone, and the mayor at the time was a guy called Richard Thick, and make of that what you will. But we posed some questions to him that he didn't want to answer, but he did, and it was all recorded on their minutes, and it was broadcast live around the internet. And I love the internet. What a tool that is for the people. I put it to him through this question that councils basically own the courts, and that they're taking their documents to court, they're printing them, they're signing, they're sealing them, and bringing them back, and making you lot pay for it. Now, when you get a court seal, a proper court that used to run out of courts of this country, they would have to be raised from the page, risen. You've risen from the page. Now, my original one of these is red, and it's risen, it's embossed. That's the only proper seal that should be coming out of a court. But you can go to any court, or you can go down to Argos or wherever online, Westfield, you can buy these little crown stamps. I could send them out. But have they got any judicial authority? I don't think so. I stay private. Anyone comes to my door now saying, no, sorry mate, private, don't want to talk to you. Private trust. And they go, no problem, bye. So I'll pass this round, guys, you have a look. Yeah, I'll give you my notice.
Is it on your Facebook page?
I won't put it up on Facebook.
I mean,
Don't work in this country.
It doesn't matter, just
What I do in my country?
I'll
Look at no funny things like that.
okay. Countries, borders, hate it. Because they want to fight each other. You know, I made a video up that says, blah blah blah, England. People go, oh, I'm in Ireland, I'm in Wales. I said, we're all part of the same, are we not part of the same club? You were born in Poland. It would be wrong for me to comment because I don't know the laws that are established in your country. But I guess whilst you're here, you come under English law. How long have you been here? I mean, I don't really want to go down this road because I don't know nothing about it. 40 years, well, fine, no problem. You can do. You will have a founding document somewhere. Everything that comes at you in your life, driving license, privilege, all comes from that. Yeah? Marriage certificate, all comes from that founding document. You will have somewhere, unless you're really lucky, you will have a birth certificate, because that's the way this world works. You need to be registered. Now, like I said on that document, you are in the registered custody, the legal registered custody. So everything you've got in your life that you've registered, your children, your cars, your home, you don't own it. It is recorded on land registry, but I said to a friend of mine the other day, because I'm playing pretty hardball with a local council, and he's a Section 151 officer, maybe some of you know who that is, but I said to him, I own my house. He said, yes you do. I said, well, it's my equity. And he said, yeah, I concur. I said, but if I don't pay council tax, you come and take it. So I can't own it. And he ended the conversation a bit sharpish. But for wherever you come from, I mean, you've been in England 40 years, just go through your family. Your family will have a copy somewhere, or you'll be able to just put your name in and you should be able to put it up. I'm not sure whether the GRO offices in this country are connected with other countries, especially after Brexit. Anyway.
You can ask a copy to your embassy.
Yeah, go to embassy,
your birth
consulate.
certificate, or in the town where you're born.
We need to change our mentality, really. I've just signed a little petition that comes around, and the word petition actually means to beg. It means you're going up to David Cameron or Theresa May. She's quite happy to kill 100,000 people, so beware. And you're begging them. You're saying to them, please take notice of what I'm doing. Pull your power back. Just, if you can afford to do it, ignore them. Forget they exist. Carry on with your life. Vibrate on a higher plane and a higher frequency, because these people would drag you down like you've got no tomorrow. And when their letters come, they come fast and they come hard. I done a video a couple of days ago of where we are as a people, and us as a people, the way we conduct ourselves, we set the tone around the world. And this video I put up was of a woman in her 80s that had been beat up in her own home. Did anyone see that? Covered from head to toe in blood, eyes hanging out here. Another one a couple of weeks ago on the radio. 82-year-old woman, beaten up in her own home, mugged, taken that back, set alight. Are we happy living in that kind of a people, society? I'm certainly not. So anyway, that's the founding document. If anyone needs a notary, mine's based in East Sussex. He works out of a company called Adams and Reman. Okay, so just ring Adams and Reman. I'm not going to put his name all over the internet, but if you ring Adams and Reman and ask for their notary, you can go. And he does loads of stuff. I've got so many people that have come to me and said, Dave, my notary won't seal my stuff. I send them down to see my friend and he does it no problem. And running on from that, prior to that, I did about 7 years ago, maybe not quite that long, what they call a claim of right. Have people seen claims of right flying around? Some people say it works, some people say it doesn't. But then again, it's still got that red ecclesiastical seal on it, and the people that I've sent it out to go very quiet. So something, is working. So,
Sorry, mate.
that's all right.
I run 10 notaries and touch it.
My manual. Yeah, my manual.
That came right.
Yeah,
They're rushing it.
when he sealed that one up, he got really excited. He was like, oh my word.
Really?
Yeah, oh my days, yeah.
Why they're saying they're not recognising it? Apparently a judge in Canada has said it's not worth the paper it's written on and that. The guys that I spoke to
Right.
won't want to go near it. But the thing is, it's legal and lawful.
If you start getting stuff ecclesiastically notarised, and then I guess if anyone's coming at you from, say, the police, the courts, and they're saying it's not recognised, so fine, no problem. You tell me when we're going to have the proper court, I'll fetch the notary up. You can pay for wasting his time, and then you can tell him why you're dishonouring the Archbishop. Finish, gone. Goodbye. Woo, out the window. That's why I used it. I've got a very strong faith. I don't talk about it too much, but I got this book quite a few years ago called The Royal Law, and in there it talks of sovereignty, monarch, people. It's written by L.L. Blake. It will cost you around about £12 on the internet, but when I kind of come to grips with this book, it led me to the King James Version Bible, and I use that as law. I don't use that as a preaching, a teaching. It's your allodial title, it's your inheritance. Use it. There isn't a judge in this land that can say no to that. And when I went to full council meeting, they're reading from it. It stood up there. Passages. Oh, and they're all massaging their egos. The mayor sat there going, oh, I'm so great and wonderful. But it says in that book, blessed are those that shepherd the weak. And just out the window, you could see in a doorway, freezing cold, a woman sat with a dog, homeless. Has he not got eyes? to break down in what they ever kind of were formulated for. When all this government and stuff come around, I mean, it's all down to you to do your own research anyway. Because if you don't do any basic research with whatever's coming at you in your life, for whatever reason, if you fall at the hurdle, it's because you ain't done a little bit of research, and from that comes confidence. First one I ever did was TV licence. And I phoned a guy up and I said, look, he said, well, you've got to pay it. I said, I don't have to do anything. He said, well, no one. Everyone does. I said, well, I'm not everyone. I said, and I'm not going to sponsor paedophiles.
No, that's why.
Yeah? I'm not going to sponsor paedophilia. Because if there's one individual in that whole organisation, excuse my French, in children, the whole institution has to go. Moral compass. We've all got our moral. We know when something's right and we know when something's wrong. We have to draw the line in the sand and say, do you know what? It doesn't matter if I get took out tomorrow, I get run over by someone in a car because they've been ordered to do it. I don't care, because I would rather live my life upright and on my feet with pride and passion than live a life down on my little knees going, please sir, can I have some more? And that's where your power comes from, because when you take that line with these people, humility, steadfast, a bit of righteousness maybe, it scares them, because they're like, I've got the police force, I've got the courts, I can lock them up tomorrow and take their liberty away. But this guy's still saying to me, who are you and what do you want in my life? And that's when they go, they just, for me, they've disappeared. Not for everyone, depends how you come through in life. Moving on. Any questions before I...
No question. Do you pay road tax?
I don't pay no income tax. I've got a letter at home from their corporation saying, we're not going to write to you no more. Because what I found was, probably about 2 years ago, the minute I got a letter through, being pumped up, and I'd read it, and I'd go, oh man, it's got red letters on it. What am I going to do? Feed the dog, or pay my local paedophile in BBC? I don't know what to do. But it's true, you have to make this clear-cut decision in your life on where you're going. So I thought to myself, no, you've got to stand in your own truth, guys. You absolutely have to. And what are the police? What do you think the police are? Right? Who's their allegiance to? No? Yeah. People say to me, Queen's not doing a job. Do you think the Queen's doing her job? Okay. For me, I hear so many things. The Queen's a lizard. She lets her corgis piss her rather than. I pay no attention to that. Because when she swore to live by God's law, that's what she did. She just lived in peace as a woman. And unless someone's got hard facts that she's doing stuff and take it to court and say, you've got to go understand my love, why, it's a hypocrisy, it's not right.
Is she number one Mason?
Pardon?
Number one Mason in England?
I don't know, because I've been accused of being in the Masons. I know a few, but I'm not in the Masons. Yeah, there's two crowns. There's two crowns in England. You've got the Queen, the monarchy, which you are all subjects to. But you've got the Crown Corporation, which runs out of Middle Temple, which, of course, I sent them a copy of my birth certificate, notarised recently via email, and that's gone really quiet. Really, really quiet. It's the Crown Corporation, it is the city of London, that square mile, because you have to come through gates to get into it. It's got its own postcode of EXO, but you've got to take your hat off to these guys, because what they've perpetrated on everybody is genius. It's genius, and they never ever thought that anyone would figure it out. They thought, Christy, we've done this, it's a swindle. But now they're figuring it out. I mean, Woodrow Wilson and Edward Kendall Hall I don't know why I bought this. At the turn of the century, when they flipped everything on everyone and give them a state insurance number and give you a SIN number, they said that we're going to get everyone to beg for benefits. They're going to give up their private property, their homes, their children, their cars, and not one of them are going to be able to figure it out. That was their statement, these two gentlemen. And when Woodrow Wilson left office, he said that he carried out a massive crime against humanity. Whether he was sorely ruined over it, I'm not too sure. But that was around about 100 years ago. And in the scheme of things, that's a very short amount of time, and we've all figured it out. There's about 70 million of us. You take the public sector, police, the courts, everything, civil services, probably not even 500,000. The police now, they're stretched to all ends. But getting back to the Crown Corporation is what's administrating justice over you all. It's not the Queen. The Queen's constitutionally restrained. It tells you in this book, The Royal Law. She can't have any political involvement. She's above the law. She's a sovereign. And apparently the Queen's blood's blue. Did you know that? What colour's yours, madam? No, your colour's blue. It only goes red when it hits the oxygen. You're all sovereigns. It's true, isn't it? Yeah, look, it's blue, isn't it? It's not red, it's blue. Oh, as we say. Yeah.
If she's above the law, are we talking about artificial constructed law, or are we talking about constant? Which law is she above?
She has to pretty much live by the King James Version Bible. Now that book's quite powerful in fairness, because a friend of mine who's a theologian, and we have chit-chats every now and again, he said to me, Dave, do us a favour, go to Romans chapter 13 in your King James. I said, yeah, no problem. And then go to Romans chapter 13 in the New International Version. Well, in Romans 13 King James it says you've got to obey that. But in the new NIV it says you've got to bow down to government authority, or you've got to live in fear. So they're corrupting that book, which is savage, man. It says in there, anyone who adds or subtracts from this word, the curses of this book will be upon them. I don't want to touch too much on that, because people think, oh, he's a crackpot, he's a rip. But I'm not. I use it for law. Shall not covet thy neighbour's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's house. Anyone's coming to you for money demands, send them that. And when the police come at you with false allegations, thou shalt not bear false witness. They run. We're out of it. Anyway, it's the Crown Corporation that's presiding justice and administrating over you. And they're seen to be doing justice. I've sat in courts. The Judge Carey, my friend at the back there, the judge said, I have to be seen to be giving justice. Don't mean he's administrating justice. The judge has to be seen to be doing justice. Not actually doing justice, just to be seen. So you look going and go, oh, yeah, no, he's doing it. But see, that's the problem, and this is where we're all coming from. We're all starting to search for answers, and I liken it to a dog, you know. You put a dog in a corner, you keep kicking it, and it's going to sit there and take it. One day, it's going to think, I've had enough of this. So I've either got to do one or two things. Keep taking it, knowing I'm not enjoying it, or make a bid for freedom. And that's what we're doing. We're looking for, you all come here today because you're looking for kind of answers for different bits in your life. You know, I don't know what stuff you've got going on in your individual day-to-day activities, but you're all looking for answers. And I don't know everything. I know quite a bit because I've been studying for quite a few years, and I know, like I said, Ecclesiastical is the highest form. But you have to come out of fear. You have to start by breaking, and you have to start saying, no, why, who are you? One of my friends, he gave me this quote about 2 years ago. He said, just say this, who in this world give you the authority to administrate my private affairs? One line, gone. Who in this world give you the authority to administrate my private affairs. And that, I said to a company called CapQuest that kept ringing and ringing my landline. And within 2 days I got a letter saying, we don't know about you, we're off. Bye-bye, never heard another thing since. It's coming into your power. And when you, it's not power as in like getting all up on yourself. I mean, it's knowledge, and knowledge is power, and this is why they're dumbing you down. This is why half the people are out chasing Pokemon Go. But is it their fault? I don't know. We've all got trigger moments. There's something that generally happens to you in your life that goes against your moral fibre, and you go, I've done it, but I'm not happy about that. And that's where you, when you draw the line in the sand and say, that was morally wrong. That's when, most of you have got trigger points, I guess. Something's happened to you, you lost your home, you've had your car taken away, they've taken your dog or your cat. And you think, well, who are the state? What are they doing in my private life? Now, I stayed private. As I started up a conversation probably about a quarter of an hour ago, I used to get these letters with all these big red letters in and all these big words and you must pay. And straight away, I'd be on the phone going, who are you? What are you doing? And getting really irate. Really irate. Giving myself a bit of blood pressure. My missus going, what are you doing? Then I switch my brain on. And I deny them a lifeline. They write to me, I send it back. No thanks. See you later. They write again. I told you once, thank you. Bye. Third time, same again, gone. Never ever hear, because once you do it 3 times, they pretty much get the message. And never open your doors to bailiffs, guys. We've got groups up and down the country now. I'm going to give them a mention. We've got Beat the Banks, Beat the Bailiffs, CA3, South East, Marks, to do up. And the response groups are good. But, well, yes, maybe that's the case. But I think we need to get to a point where we can try and get this paperwork sorted out before we let this happen. Because, I mean, there was one in Bedfordshire a couple of weeks. How long ago was Rika's eviction when they kicked her door in? Did you see them big bailiffs? They were running out of breath, weren't they, trying to kick her door in? But anyway, she got back into her home yesterday. She's taken it. Now, yeah. And that sends them a message. Because they checked with land registry. She's still, that's it, it's her equity. She'd give it to the courts, and the police turned up and went, fair play. They walked away yesterday. But I know, in my life, my dog's my dog, my van's my van, my car's my car, my home's my home. If any man comes along to try and take it away, that I don't know and don't trust, that word trust, guys, trust me, use it. I don't trust you to the police. Don't trust me. If they took it off me without proper due process of law, I'll be back in there tomorrow. And if they put me in prison when I get out, then if someone's moved in there, I'll be back in there again. Who gives these people the right to just keep shuffling papers? And they're ruining people's lives, guys.
This is what they are for.
People in this country are committing suicide all the time through whatever these people are doing to them. They're wicked. It's got to be wickedness. My friend had his four-day-old baby daughter. They've taken his daughter from him. 2 years ago, an Italian woman, I think she was in King's College Hospital, cesarean section, took her baby from her stomach with 4 policemen round her with machine guns. She must have been a hell of a threat, guys, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, and I mean, and that video's gone flying around YouTube. But I have to question why these people would do that.
With machine guns?
With their Glock. Yeah. Whether they got rounds in them, I don't know, but they're there. You tell me. Social services have put an order in, said, that's our property, we're taking it. Because you registered it, but his baby's not registered. That's why I've done what I've done with that birth certificate. Yeah? I'm here. 1666 said, the Act of 1666 says, judge as if they're dead, lost at sea. So I've taken ownership of it and saying, no, I'm the man, oh, this is mine. And I think that's going to scare them. I reckon I'm the first man since 1666 to...
Recommend doing it for your kids first.
Yeah, why not? You know, let's change the system. This is our planet. This is our country.
Can you just say how you do that?
Our...
Can you just, because I missed it, sorry.
Yeah.
Could I ask you to clarify something about your birth certificate? I've heard a lot of talk that you need to go to a registry office and force them to give you the original certificate, but yours is just an ordinary copy.
So what are you doing?
Is that good enough?
Now, when you ring up, like this is what winds me up about public servants. You always want that 0800, no, not the 0300 number, like 50 pence a minute or £1.50 a minute. Takes forever. They play Shakespeare and all this lovely music to you. Yeah, exactly. But when they turn around and say, you ring them up and say, I've got a question on something, and they say, well, you've got to do that, or you've got to ring that. They're just fobbing you off. Take ownership. Say, no, I'm not, I don't care whether that's a copy. It's in there, I've claimed it.
Yeah, so yours is just...
Mate, yeah, I don't care what bit of paper it's written on, it could be written on toilet paper or all I care. It's just a bog standard copy.
So what I'm trying to get is that it isn't necessary to do all that.
You won't never get an original anyway. They won't. If anyone's ever seen Marcus, has anyone ever? Marcus. Marcus, Canadian or New Zealand? Canadian. Marcus organised a visit to his general registration office because he wanted to see the original. So he's in there, and this woman's gone. She's come out of it, she's gone, there you go. And he's gone, well, let it go then. She said, I can't. There's a big geezer behind her with an automatic weapon. He said, let it go. She said, I'm not allowed to let you hold this. This is the foundation, this is the original document. Without this, you don't exist in our system.
Does the parent sign the original?
I'm not... You're an informant, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but does the informant sign the original?
Yeah, I think so.
Run off with it at that point.
Don't get me wrong, guys. I've got 2 children, 28, 29 and 25. But I done the same, because I didn't know this back then.
So that's what proves the contract.
It's all contracts. Law, forget law. Take that word out your head, because it doesn't exist in this country. You have contracts and you have business. That's all it is. And you, all through your life, you're just an energy unit. That's why when you go in, they don't even look at you. Because they're not interested. It's all, what can I get out of you?
So how do you claim it back then?
I've had that ecclesiastically sealed, and the intention is to send that up to the Treasury, surrendering it for value, and getting my estate back.
Many years ago, I went to a Freeman conference up in Birmingham, I think it was, and there was a guy that I've no reason to disbelieve. He seemed a really nice, peaceful guy, called Thomas. And he reckoned he'd done his gnosis of understanding and intent and the claim of right, and he'd got his social insurance number, his SIN number, from America, threatened to move it to them, and then they paid off his student loan and everything.
When you go for the IRS, it's called an EIN number, and we have got. Who's got me on Facebook?
Exemption identification number.
Yeah. You have to ring up from a certain time of day, ask a protocol of questions.
What about your QSIP number?
QSIP numbers are on your dollar bill. Not too many people know this, but on every dollar, every pound, whatever you want to call it, bearing in mind it says, I promise to pay. There's nothing tangible behind this, guys. It's a promissory note, correct. But there's nothing tangible. But there is a QSIP number on it, which is this one down the bottom here. And that will correspond to someone's birth certificate somewhere around the world, yeah. That little number on the bottom there. Yeah. And when, I think it was Tom mentioned Glossa, the text that these corporations write to you with a capitalised. Did I give you that one? Is that mine? That's yours. Isn't it? Is that yours or mine? That's all right. So Glossa is. I've got a letter here that was sent to me. I just wrote some notes on. But the surname, the initial W is capitalised. Now, Glossa Vespina is not in the Oxford Styles Dictionary. It's a corrupted text. And there's a guy that's coming out of Australia called Rowan. No, what's his name?
Rohan. O-R-O-H-A.
That's it.
Rohan.
What's the other guy's name, the Australian that gives it?
Brian.
Franco Collins. Franco Collins?
No, not Franco Collins, he's Irish.
Brian.
Yeah,
Brian.
that comes to me. But this Australian guy's, he's got a Styles menu, a Styles dictionary, which is just what's acceptable in a language, stylising of writing. And this Glossa is not in the Oxford Styles manual as a recognised text.
Because it's a language.
It is a language.
It's not a text,
No.
it's a language.
And because
And it originates
£20,
to Roman.
yeah, if you look at the, you've got capitalisation of the £20. If you take, because the capitalised is not recognised as the rest of the Sanskrit text on the pounds, so you've got 20 ounce, because the capital letters are not recognised as a text in the English language as per that Styles dictionary. They pulled the wool over our eyes for many years, guys. Where am I? Okay, let's I'm all right for time? So, council tax. Some of them have touched it. I'm going to have a quick gloss up. Is that Del? That's not Del. Is it Del Emery? That's not Del Emery.
They mortgages. What about that?
Not really my hot spot, mortgages, because I haven't had one for many years.
Yeah, but I have the
You got a you got a bloody thing, yeah. Mortgages are a pain, aren't they?
Oh, don't tell me.
Yeah, mortgage, 2 words, dead deed. Yeah. If you go up to Chancery Court, the Court of Chancery, you've got the Royal Courts of Justice, yeah. So you've got the Royal Courts of Justice, and up round the corner on Fetter Lane you've got the Chancery. Yes. Well, equity law, supposedly. There's some people in there that are kind of barristers. They're called clips. Are they called clips?
Yes.
Clips barristers.
Do I have them anymore? Do I have them anymore?
I think they do, because they've just been up there this week.
I get told I went up there and they said,
Oh. So they had a chat with the clips barristers, the clips people, and said to these clips people, can I discharge debt through this birth certificate, this bond? And they both said yes. You can discharge debt through that bond. Everything's apparently prepaid. But then again, you've got to do due diligence.
Yeah, because money's got no value. One at a time, please.
Yeah.
Because you can't pay.
Well, we all say money's got no value, and I absolutely agree with you. But we've all got it in our pocket. So we're all using it, because there is no other practical alternative at the moment. That's where we need to see a shift. There's no practical alternative. So everything that you buy with that, they create the money in the first place, because he who creates controls. Yes. So the Bank of England created that, and when they bring money into circulation, or they create money, it's a birth. It's like birthing a baby, as they call it, but we're born instead of birth. We're actually born, and they call it sovereign money. Yeah. So they actually treat that like a living thing in their world.
Well, this is
Scandalous, really. It is scandalous, but it's coming to the forefront. People, we'd never had this conversation 10 years ago. You'd have gone, what? And when I first kind of come to grips, all my family going, Dave, get down the doctors. Get on some tablets. I'm saying, nah, it feels right. What I'm doing is right. I'm not going to keep humanity going through this bullshit, all these wars and all this slavery-based system. Why? For what? Whose benefit?
Well, you know there is a new movement that started again. Re-movement. And they have a alternative material.
Oh, Peter of England.
Yeah.
I'll say no more.
Yeah.
It's not working. Some people reckon they've had success with it. It's, well, okay with it. There's someone there that might want to come up and explain. The WeBank system. I mean, Peter of England's a great guy. I've never met him. I know you know Peter. It was an alternative. It was sovereignty pounds. Was it sovereignty pounds? Yeah. I mean, bearing in mind, money itself, only 7% of the currency you've got in your pocket is in circulation. The other 93% sits on computer screens.
3%. It's 3%.
Oh, it's only 3% of money. Yeah. And have you noticed, actually, how the currency is hyperinflating? £20 note, what's it buying now? Packet sandwiches, cup of tea, tenner. A bottle of wine, 10 quid. I don't know how long that's sustainable for a lot of people. And you know, I had a debate with someone the other day on use of the roads and road tax and insurance and everything else that goes with it. Now, as I said previously, a driving licence is a privilege, and you should have the absolute right to travel as you see fit. But the problem is, people that come at me and say, you can't do this without insurance and you can't do this without taxes, they're fine. I'm not going to mess with their belief system. But what about the people that can't afford MOT, tax, insurance? If you're 17-year-olds now, £2,000 plus a year to insure.
You do what the policemen do, and that's self-bond.
Self-bond. We've all got bonds, by the way. I'm just circulating it round. That's our bond.
Yeah. And the police do.
Is it free man on the land? Do we turn our back on people that can't afford to get on the road? So there's a council block over there, there's a family in there, and the guy sat there going, I want to go out to work, man, but I can't afford this and that. Does that mean that your right, because you can afford to do it, is any greater than his? We turn our back on these people. It should be fair for everyone, no?
Because we have
The problem is, the alternative currency is gold, but it was abolished. The gold standard was abolished, so that's why we do fractional reserve banking, which is money created out of nothing.
Right.
But we can set up our own based on silver.
You can do that. Well, can you? They'll shut you down. And there's a good chance actually they'll probably come around and kill you.
Rather than jump around, I'll go to whoever's got their hand up, and it's this one next.
David, I remember a few years ago, sitting next to us you knew somebody up from the north that's going to get a bond off I hear you, man. Stand up.
Not too sure. I mean,
Can you repeat the question, man? Yeah. A few years ago, we were sitting around with the Kent Freedom Movement.
I've done lots of things.
But you said there was a woman up in the north that's on the verge of getting the bonds off. Did she ever succeed?
I'm not sure. Guys, I've got about 3,000 messages plus on my Facebook stuff. It gets a bit mad. Can't remember. What does she look like?
I don't know.
Oh, she wasn't there.
No, you said.
Okay.
You can't remember being in Dartford at the time.
What, the eviction or in the Kent Freedom Movement?
Kent Freedom.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's a while ago. My brain goes.
You did mention it.
People say to me, "What did you do yesterday?" I said, "I don't know. I can't remember." It's a trouble. It's got to come as it comes.
Council tax.
Yeah, council tax. So I started phoning around, you know, because I'm getting these liability orders coming in. This was quite a few years ago, and I'm like, "So it's magistrate's court." Yeah, magistrate's court. So I ring up the magistrate's court. All right, yeah. So-and-so's name? No, not here. What do you mean, not there? You must have. It's gone for a call. No. Well, what's going on? Oh, well, the council bring their paperwork in on the day. They hire the courtrooms, they're called bull arenas. Rubber stamping. The judge don't give a flying rat's fart about you. He's there making money, man. And that's all he's doing. Bomb, your name, yeah, he don't know what you look like, how you're feeling today. He's just, another, it's business. It's contracts, it's business. But the council take their paperwork back to them and they keep them on their own records and their own files. But the council don't have judicial authority. They're not sworn in. This is why I get back to this royal law, we're all supposedly the Queen's subjects. So there's a massive fraud going on between the councils and the local court systems. It's in-house. But when you consider probably that the council pay and run and maintain these buildings, you don't go up against the hand that feeds you. One of my friends actually, I'm not going to say what council he works at, but we've known each other for many years. He's a director in the local council. And I see him a few years ago in Maidstone High Street just after Christmas, and it had been snowing. And there's this guy in his wheelchair and his family are pushing him up. And he said to me, they're the ones we've got to hit the unders. I said, well, that guy in a wheelchair? Yeah, got to strip their benefits. I said, well, why? Coming from Central, mate. Got to follow orders, haven't we? I'm like, so you're going to strip that man that I'm healthy and wealthy and I'm paying to keep, they're outrageous. He said, well, you go to prison. I said, how do you know that? He said, because I've sent people to prison for non-payment of council tax. My friend is a director of a local council in Kent. So when these council people are sat in these rooms acting as courts, because everything is an act and Shakespeare told you the world's a stage, that's all they're doing. They put their little wig on. Does anyone actually know what the wig is and what it's made out of? Lamb's wool. Yeah, and judges, especially if they're coming into the system, and barristers, the older the wig, the more they'll pay for it. That's why they always look like they've come out of Primani.
They pay for the wigs.
They pay for the wigs, yeah. They see whoever's died at judicial authority in these wigs, and the older the wig, the more they'll pay for it, because apparently it's got more knowledge and wisdom kept in it. But the wig is made out of lamb's wool, and it says in there, beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. Beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of end there, guys. I've probably been up here a while, right? Take back your power. It emanates from you, my love. I want you to start all using the word no. And when people come and say, you say, why? No, I'm not prepared to do that. Don't pick up any arms, any threats of violence, because it's really easy to go there. You lost your power at that point. You have to keep your power. Yes, sir?
Two things. James 2, what was the other one?
James 2, chapter 9. See, that book is a book of law. And on the very first page of that book, in Genesis, it says, who created you? He made you from the ground, he breathed air for your nostrils and give you a soul. Yeah, but maybe. Yeah, no, you're probably right. Because it is written by man. However, the system go by it. Because they read from it. That's why they say, if you go into a criminal court, you've done something bad, they give you a Bible and say, swear on it. It tells you in there not to do that. Don't swear an oath, ever, ever. But where I'm going, the very first page says, who created you, who breathed life through your nostrils and give you a soul, and on the very last page in Revelation, it tells you what will happen if you don't keep that royal law, which is love thy neighbour with all thy heart. But it says, I'll take your part out of the book of life. Now, it might be crap, it really might, and I might upset a lot of people by saying that. But they can't go against that. That's why I use it, because it humbles them. Like I say, I was
They
christened.
don't understand anything anyway. They have to abide this. But they don't.
They do. The reason, right, okay. It says in that book, as it is written, so it shall be. Now when you go to court, you're babbling. Court's not what you talk about. Court's on the paper. So if you write it like I've done with that deed, that original birth certificate, or whatever you call it original, and ecclesiastically sealed, I don't have to do any talking.
It talks to itself.
It speaks for itself. And I say, there you go. Take the lumps out of that. True, isn't it?
If you understand what is
Life is supposed to be simple.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be here on a journey, and the one thing that you guys can never get back, never ever ever get back, when these courts and these police waste of time, all the love in the world for the police, providing they're doing their job. One thing you can't get back is your time. You can't get it back. So if they pull you up in a case for the next 6 months or 2 years, they're wasting your time, and that's the most valuable thing whilst we're here, because we're only here for a short amount of time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's fine. Who in this world gave you
The authority to administer my private estate. Boom. That's a clincher. If ever I write to anyone and it's longer than a sentence, I'll throw it in the bin and start again. Yes, madam.
I know that it's not really, as you've mentioned, part of it, but I don't think that people are taking board the children issue to the degree and the seriousness, because Cameron, before he stepped down, put through the law to rush through adoptions.
Yeah.
The Queen in her speech mentioned that. If children come home from school and tell their parents they've been inappropriately touched at school,
They're off.
they go to the police station, the next thing they're taking off the child.
Right.
And look at the truth, they have said still in care.
I know.
Still in care.
Fair play.
Folly.
Yeah. When our currency, or the money system, whatever you want to call it, it is theirs, it come off of being backed by gold, silver and minerals and tangible things. So when we went into this bankruptcy that we did back in the 20s or the 30s, we had to they reinvented the system. And the money prior to 1934, I do believe, used to say £10, not I promise to pay £10. So what actually backs the currency, and this is where I'm coming to with your point, is you. Well, not you, because who knows who you is, I don't. I'm me, I'm I. But that's what backs the currency. Let's not beat about the bush. You guys back the currency, you create it, you pass it around. But I know a councillor woman, ex-councillor in Maidstone, not going to mention her name, but she was flying. She was really doing good things, and she's a positive soul. She went to a full council meeting with a head of social services at the time, and I've got no problem with putting this man's name out because it's nasty what he's doing. Peter Gilroy. Peter turned round after he's got a glass of wine in one hand and some food in the other. He said, I'm going to take 1,000 more children off of families next year. And she looked at him, she went, what? Yeah, going to do it. Children are the new gold. Every time a child gets taken into care, that bond I'm flying around, they're raping it. They're smashing that bond. They're creating currency and money from that bond. Chrissy Morris, a good friend of mine, went to an eviction in Essex 4 months ago. This couple, 5 children. They was £100 short a week of making ends meet, and they got into trouble. Mortgage, whatever, I don't know. But when the police come round and said, we're going to evict you, it didn't actually happen. But they said, if you have not got anywhere to go with a roof, you're going to have to present your children today to social services. So that's 5 times £500 a week. That's £2,500 a week for 5 kids. That's 10 grand a month. Wouldn't it have been easier for the state, if it was caring, to just give them that £100 a week so they could make ends meet and keep that family unit together. I personally think, from a spiritual point of view, that when I see young kids, especially on the internet, they're coming in and they're really switched on. You think we're switched on? Mate, they're going to smash the back door out of what's to come. So what they're doing is they're trying to break down that spirituality and that little upgrade that these people, because kids now, they absolutely know themselves. Yeah. If you know something bad's happening, you have a moral obligation to try your hardest to do something about that. Now, yeah? When we sit back and turn our back, sorry, pleasure guys, really enjoyed it. Anyone wants any questions, I'm up the back.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.